But I guess it didn't have a beach, and we couldn't have a beach near our meeting. So anyway, I would go to all these meetings, and Gordon County had like 20 people go, and it was just me going. Sometimes Robert Harris would go, but we were the only ones. And I said, if I stop going, GCWA, our meetings and stuff is going to stop. So I went, whether it was, Atlanta or wherever, because the main thing was going to the meetings. We never did go to virtual because we weren't in virtual at that time. But the thing is, we did come back. We did start going back to Savannah every year. Then for a time, we were going to Jekyll for our winter meeting. We'd never done that. So we were going to Savannah and Jekyll in the same year every year. So, and we built back up, and, we've built, and we've had our in-person meetings in Savannah and Jekyll, and we've accomplished so much. I mean, all the stuff we've accomplished, I want to sit down and just write it down sometime because it's amazing. So this is another hiccup, and I don't know when it's going to end. Susan's trying to find out about Savannah, but we've just got to stay true to GPHSA, support it, and she's got a lot of, great things coming up that we can do virtually. No, it's not as much fun as going to the lake on a pretty day and hanging out afterwards, but it'll come back. I believe that because I have seen it come back before. And I have a quote. You always have a quote, but I have them all over my wall. And this one says, hope, if it had a scent, would smell like spring and like rain. And that's what we're in right now is spring. It will smell like something new and alive. And so I just feel like, it's spring, and we just got to hold on to our hope and know that we will get back, because we're doing great things, y'all, right now, as we'll hear about. And we're going to do many more great things. And I've been a member of GPHSA, GCWA, as long as I've been a member of Gordon County DFATS, or, just DFATS in general. And that'll be 26 years this December. So I believe in it. I've had to explain myself why it was important to many people, and I do believe in it. And I do believe that it helps our members. So enough about that. If everybody will just introduce themselves. It's hard to do it when you're virtually, but I guess I'll start. I'm Susan Cooper. I don't think there's anybody new on here today, but I am the president of GPHSA, and right now I'm working between Gordon and Murray County with the crew unit, which is the ones that, deal with the foster parents. I started December 1st, and I'm loving every bit of it. So I hope this is where I finish my career out, because it's really a great thing to be doing. So I guess I'm going to look at the side over here, and we'll try to go that way. Rhonda, you go next. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Rhonda Floyd, Executive Assistant with GPHSA.
Okay. I got Jennifer next on my screen.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Brogdon. I'm president-elect.
That's Samantha Garrison.
Hey, y'all. Good afternoon, Samantha Garrison. Oh, is my camera on?
Nope.
There it is. There it is.
There she is.
And I'm a board member. Happy to be here.
Okay. Miss Sakima.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sakima Harmon. I have been with GPHSA, GCWA since I started on March 16th, 1990, and glad to still be serving on the board. Senior Director for DHS.
Thank you, Sakima.
Oh, that's awesome.
What? All right, Darby.
I'm Darby Hickson. I work in regional accounting for Region 1, and I am the treasurer for GPHSA, and try to be a part of several committees, but I haven't been able to do a whole lot lately.
It happens. It does. Jeannie. Jay Lane.
Jeannie Lane. I am the office manager for Chattooga County, and for the Region 1 crew, I am the education and chair head. I forgot the damn word. And I am a board member.
Tori.
Good afternoon. I'm Tori Love. I'm the OFI Deputy District Manager for District 1, and I'm a board member.
Thanks, Tori. All right, Miss Kimberly Ballard Humphrey.
Good afternoon, everyone. My internet went out, so I'm just joined back. I guess I'm introducing myself. I'm the
Yes.
county, I'm the county director at Chattooga Facts, and I may be a board alternate. I am not sure if I've moved into another role yet. So
Thanks, Kim.
thank you.
All right, Tanisha.
I am Tanisha Moreland, GPHSA Vice President and over the membership committee, which I do not think I'm doing such a great job at. And I am OFI admin for Cobb County.
All right, Susan.
Susan Boatwright, I'm director. So nice to hear y'all's voices and see some of your faces. And I know you've got a lot going on. So thanks for taking the time to be here.
Yes. Now, did I miss anyone? Because like I said, it's hard to see. So if I did, please speak up. We don't want to miss anybody because we do appreciate you taking your time to be here. Buddy. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have the approval of the minutes. Oh, well, of course your phone's going to go off. And it's my work phone. I hardly ever know how to turn it off. Okay. Sorry. Did everybody get the minutes, Susan, Rhonda?
Yeah, I sent those out this morning.
Okay, so hopefully you've already read them. So is it okay if I ask for a vote, Susan? Since
Yes,
Ashley's
I
not-
think we probably first just need to establish that we have a quorum. And by
Oh,
my
yeah.
math, I
Who
think
has do you have that list, Rhonda?
I do not have the list. Look on the back of those minutes, and I'm not looking at them, y'all. I'm sorry. Does anybody have them in front of them? Let's see. Hang on.
I say just if you hadn't looked at the minutes, just
Let me
be
see.
looking at them right
I
now.
think there's a check. Let's see what we got here. All right. Hang on 1 second.
Ashley was called to a meeting at the last minute, so that's why we're not. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Here we got
There
it.
we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You want me to call it out?
Yeah, go ahead and call it out, and I'm just going to make a note. I won't change
Okay.
these, but I'll just make a note, and she can.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm recording it so she can hear what we got.
Yeah. Is Angie Thompson here? I don't think so. Tori's here. Jan's not here, right?
No.
Shanita. Jeannie Lane's here. Taylor Woods. Susan Cooper's here. Jennifer Brogdon's here. Tanisha Moreland's here. Ashley Stallings is not. Darby Hickson's here. Kimberly Ballard Humphrey's here. Tracy Sadler. Samantha Garrison's here. Marion Luke. Farrah Burgess. Dawn Chris. Natasha Mike. Phyllis Hatcher. And Vicki Perkins. We have a quorum.
we would need 7 non-board members, right?
I do not remember if you mean 7 non-officers.
7 non-officers and at least 4 officers.
It says right here, number needed for a quorum is 7.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so we've got,
Okay,
Lori, Jeannie, Kimberly. Sam.
we've got 7. And the officers can vote, correct?
yeah,
Okay, so we've got 7.
all right,
Yay.
awesome.
Wonderful. Okay, I hope everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes now. Would somebody like to suggest that we accept them? Anybody can do that if you're a
Aye.
board member. All right, Tori, move we accept them. Anybody second?
Are you saying that I can second?
Yeah, because you're an officer. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna second.
Yay. Yay. Okay, so everybody in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Anyone opposed? All right, minutes are accepted. Thank y'all. And again, sorry this is so choppy, but it's kind of last minute thing. So, but we know we've learned in the virtual world to go with stuff, so that's the fact. Okay, next, our treasurer has our financial report, and you received that in the email too. So hopefully you've read it. So, Miss Darby.
Okay, so the reports that were provided are showing information for the first quarter, so January through March of 23, which is 25% of our year. And I cannot believe it's already May. That's crazy. And I was going to mention also how it does feel like we're in quarantine again because we're not doing anything in person right now. It's kind of backwards, like,
Yeah.
we're going backwards. So, but anyway, the checking account balance as of March 31st was $7,511.74. And not having in-person meetings does impact our income and revenue, but also our expenses. We did make a non-refundable deposit of $6,748 to Lake Lanier in anticipation of having our meetings this week. Susan, I believe, is in discussion with Mary Havoc regarding the possibility of using the funds toward a child welfare conference in July. However, I do know that it's rumored that the travel moratorium is going to be in effect until the end of the calendar year. So this could like hugely impact the fall, the annual and the fall conference for us, which is hopefully going to change, but at this point it's rumored to be extended or that it's going to go on that long. So that's not good. The Vanguard account is going in the right direction with a $1,585 growth reported for the first quarter. The account balance is $29,567.87. The 2023 budget that was proposed and accepted in December is not going to be changed to reflect the cancellation of the winter or spring in-person conferences, because we will continue to use the amounts projected for future consideration with budgets. Office expenses are running slightly above target so far this year, in part due to annual website maintenance fees, as well as state of postage expenses for the foundation. Salaries and contractor expenses are also showing slightly above target, though the figures do include December salary for Rhonda and Susan that weren't paid until January. The education and workshop revenue shows an amount. However, it is noted that the spring registration fees that had come in were refunded, so that amount has changed after the report was generated. Individual membership fees are an integral part of our resources, and we appear to be on target for the first quarter. Employee turnover is constant, and the new hires and rehires are getting packets from the membership committee encouraging GPHSA knowledge and memberships, and hopefully other current members are sharing enthusiasm and encouragement to have the new ones join. Fundraising revenue is off to a great start thanks to the strong interest in agency t-shirts. And that's really all I have to cover. So unless Susan or Rhonda have something to add, I'll make a motion to accept the financial reports as presented.
You don't have anything to add?
I will add a little bit of context during my comments, but it won't change anything on here. So if you want to go ahead and vote on it.
All right, Darby's made a move. Anybody second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Anyone opposed? Okay, the financial minutes have been accepted. All right, now we're gonna go through the committees. Hopefully y'all have been meeting virtually, so.
Who seconded that? So just so Ashley will know.
I know Jennifer and somebody else. There was two people.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
All
Thank
right. Okay, the first committee is the Long Range Committee, which Jennifer Brogdon's gonna give us a report on that.
Okay, so I don't know when we last had a long range planning committee meeting. Was it when we were in Savannah? I'm not sure.
It would have had to be in person, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. But we did meet at some point in February, so I was looking at some notes. As far as what our priorities, what we wanted our priorities to kind of be for this next year in long range. And so some of that, I'm gonna go over a little bit of that and some things we've talked about. But first, let me say, now is the time that we've got to be really creative and innovative on providing information out to our members and recruiting members and, you know, professional development, that kind of thing, networking, all of that. So I'll tell you about some of the ideas we have. So looking back on my notes, we talked about some of the priorities or salaries for our staff, right? We want raises. We also talked about trying to work on raises based on years of service and also working on the career ladder for our staff. And so ideas on that, we talked about having some local roadshow type events with some of our legislators to talk about some of these needs. We also talked about in the future, we'd like to have a lobbyist firm who lobbies for us. And we think that would be financially okay for us. I don't know about right now, but in the future, and that would give us a little more voice. And so when we talked about what we were calling GPHSA roadshows, we looked at saying it was GPHSA on the road to growth. And what this would mean is regional leadership or district leadership could ask for GPHSA to come to a local county, region, whatever, and ask for some trainings to be provided by GPHSA. Also during that time, set up some sort of local legislative meeting to talk to the legislators. We feel like we need to definitely network and have some professional growth. So we want to look at doing some quarterly virtual trainings. We had, was it last week or week before? I can't remember. We had a virtual training on self-care, stress management. And I participated in that, but I was really disappointed because we only had about 4 or 5 people that participated. So we need to really be encouraging staff, you know, this is some professional development for you that is available to you through GPHSA. So we need to kind of motivate people to sign up and join some of those. I think that's all I have. We did talk about, you know, and this is planning. If we are going to have a road show, then we talked about our board members doing a what I call give back, and somehow we would do something for the homeless in Savannah, but that's kind of on hold. Now, if we are given the go-ahead, then we're gonna quickly be scrambling probably in July and August to get all that together. But I really want to see that happen because it's important to me to do that. So that's all I have. Susan Boatwright, is there anything to add?
No, the only thing I was gonna just say, connecting to working with the homeless in Savannah, is if we do have some of these regional convenings, we could definitely make, some portion of that service related. And another part of that we want to offer is a, sort of an after hours legislative get together. If the board, and the members there would like that, but that would also help us with our advocacy platform. So the ideas that we had to do something like on the statewide level, I would like to, as much as possible, try to do them when we do things, closer where people don't have to travel so much. If the travel cost is the issue right now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, well, like I say, if we don't, I'm just disappointed as the next of you, but if we don't, we can still be creative and just keep the ball rolling somehow until this is over with. So, and it will be eventually. So, all right, Tanisha, membership report.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I was looking at the membership numbers from, I think the last time we reported out was in October, and we had a total number of members of 1789, and now we're at 1711. Now, that could be, of course, because people have left, people may have gotten promoted, and I think we might be losing a lot of numbers when people get promoted and they go to another county and they don't go back and do their forms again. So we got to make sure we get
I'll interrupt right here and let you know that from the last report to this report, I've cleaned up. So I got rid of everybody last year that had not, that, were on the no payee status. I started something different this time. I'm not going to keep them on a year. If I checked last month and you did not pay and you didn't, no, we're just talking about payroll withholding.
Right.
Didn't pay this month. I don't really see any purpose to keep them on a whole year and wait and drop them off at the end of the year. I know it boosts those numbers up a little bit, but I don't really think it's an accurate reflection of where we are.
It isn't.
I just kind of took that upon myself to decide I'm really not going to hold on to those except for maybe a month or possibly 2 if we need to work through some payroll stuff, but anyway, just wanted to let you know that's really the decline in the numbers most likely.
Okay, got it. Okay, so for individual members, we have 820. It says 675 are payroll deductions, includes state paid members, which is a total of $2,704 per month average.
Yeah, I stuck that in there.
Okay. So 820, that's individual members, meaning like us.
Right.
Okay. Retirees, we have 56. Affiliate members, we have 800. Lifetime members, we have 7. Friends, 28. New members as of January 1st, we have 40, which is not that bad.
Yeah.
But like I said, considering the numbers that we had, it's like we're not really moving as far as we need to. Agency membership, we have 159. So does that mean, as far as agency membership, what is that exactly?
That's every county.
County, that's what I was going to. Okay, so all counties are covered.
Right.
Okay. As far as the membership committee, and I would like some feedback too, because wanting to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to boost membership. I know that we've talked about, we meet every other month now. We were meeting monthly, but it seemed like it'd be better to meet every other month. So now we'll meet next Wednesday. But I know Susan and I have met with a regional, 2 regions, was it 2 regions, to kind of talk about, GPHSA membership, things like that. And I met with Paulding as well. I plan on meeting with Cobb, just to kind of get out there and actually, so they can have somebody that they know, and to kind of give them an idea of what GPHSA is about. But I want some information from you guys of what do you guys think that we can do more? Because I feel like that when I get on these calls, I'm like, what? Because they're looking to me to figure out what to do next. And I honestly need some feedback.
I'll tell you one of the main ways, because I don't know, because I know the county I'm in now is not 100%, and that's Gordon, and they used to be, but we've had people come and go. And when I was in Walker, I was working on it, and it's just one county, but if we can make it our priority to make our county 100%, and do some kind of something. I think when Gordon got it, Wayne come down, brought a certificate, and we had like a little reception or something. But just something like that. But that's where we all need to start. And even looks like there's 13 people on this call, and some of us may be in the same county, but and we may not get to 100%, but if we try and we get a couple members, that's something. So I think that just needs to be the starting ground, and go from there.
Anybody else?
I'll tell you that I have not given up on this county memberships, because there's some interest in that, and I am hoping I can tie in. And Jennifer, you're on my list to call after this meeting tomorrow or the next day to see if we can set something up in your area, since you
Sounds
have the
great.
most interest. I
Sounds
did
good.
talk with the Gwinnett board last week, and there's interest there. I think there's a way that, especially if there's a county that's interested in doing some sort of after hours, like the chamber used to do, that business after hours from like 5 to 7, but right after the end of a work day, to do a little bit of a partner, staff, legislators networking event. We could charge for that. The board could ask us to do that. I know this doesn't work for counties that don't have board money, but the only people we're talking about the county level memberships are with counties that have boards that want to do this, and we're trying to find a way to make it work. And what my thought is that we would charge for setting that up, and counties that choose to do that, if they already have 60% of their members, then it would be a reduced fee. But for counties that don't, or counties that want to do the county level membership, we would charge. And in that charge, we would include the amount that would cover the memberships at 60%. And that would just be a check to the foundation, which of course then the foundation can feed into the association. But that cleans up, I think, what the issue with regional accounting was. So y'all come visit me if I get incarcerated for doing things that are not, but creatively speaking here, I think there's an opportunity. This association has historically been so grounded in individual memberships that you hate to get away from that. But if our first priority is that we want the association to be here 20 years from now and in the hands of other people, making sure that staff are advocated for and are given opportunities and that their voice is heard, then I think we're going to have to just be a little more creative about how we get our membership numbers, also how we move forward financially, and turnover kills our membership, just like it is. Tanisha, when you were talking, I was thinking, I think the HR folks you could hear HR and county directors and supervisors and everybody saying those same words. I just don't know how to retain people or to increase our numbers. And people are looking at me. I mean, you probably feel that way in OFI in general in Cobb County. So whatever's happening with DHS, impacts us and the turnover impacts us. And I think if we had, everybody in the county has a membership, and when quarterly so-and-so leaves, but so-and-so was hired and they're automatically a member, then hopefully that would expand knowledge of GPHSA, because it could be given upon hire. We want participation. We want people actively engaged. So didn't mean to hijack, but those are my thoughts.
No, that's fine. I was wondering when you were talking, is there any way, so for instance, if someone leaves Cobb County, they're a member and they go to, I don't know, another agency or another something within OFI or DFACS, is there any way that that payroll will send them that form automatically?
I wish that were true. No.
Okay.
So they have to refill it out. So,
but they won't even think about it. Like I didn't even think about it. You just kind of just, it's over your head until somebody, Rhonda says, oh, hey, Tanisha, you haven't, oh, I did not even know. And you don't really notice it in your check. So you just don't pay attention to it.
And that's how we lose a good many members like that, because people, change counties.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. So I don't really understand why. It looks like all your deductions would go with you, but
that's what I would think. If you're staying with the agency, why wouldn't it? But if it's changing payroll, I'm just wondering, is there any way that we could speak to, I don't know, the regions and see if they can send the form along with them? If you're a GPHSA member, make sure that you continue on with your deductions with this form.
I don't know. Darby probably has a lot more knowledge about all that, but I don't know.
I can offer sending the form to Region 1. I don't know about other regions, but I can check into that. And because I do send new employee travel packets to Region 1 and 3. And so I do get the list of the new hires and the rehires and the promotions and all that kind of stuff. So if I have the form and information or whatever, I'd be happy to do that.
And when you say you'll check, who will you check with about the other regions?
I will check to see if I can get the information that is needed, because the list that I get shows the whole state, but it's not always clear on whether they're promoting and staying in their same region or if they're going to somewhere else.
Okay. But that will, I mean, it'll help a little bit if you can just, just find out.
Thank you, Darby.
Thank you. And that's all I have for the membership committee. Okay. I know that the t-shirts, is it?
Oh yeah.
She's not on here. I don't see Lynn.
No, she's not on here.
Okay. I don't know the numbers for that, for the t-shirts, to see how they're doing, and the sweatshirts and things like that.
You, Jennifer, I think you kind of knowing Jennifer Brogdon.
I can tell you loosely that the using that campaign that we used for the t-shirts most recently, I think it was we cleared $400 and some odd dollars, and a new campaign started right after that, which is probably closed down now. I can't remember, is it Bonfire, I think. And I think it was 50 something. And so total 500 profit. And the t-shirts look great. I know we may want to do a contest about a design and that sort of thing, but my goodness, for the amount of work that saved and the amount that we made.
That's awesome.
It was great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the t-shirt and the sweatshirt. I think that ran for so many days, 20 days. And then if nobody else ordered, then it closes down, shuts down, or something like that. So Lynn Green, some of you don't know, she's been out on medical leave and had a real bad scare, and has been, she was in the hospital, but I think she's going to return actually tomorrow to work. So anyway, so she's better.
Better, yeah.
Sorry to
Hey,
hear that.
thank
But
you.
that's all I
Tanisha.
have for our membership.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all for the work that you are doing, because Tanisha may be the head of the committee, but it's going to take us all to get members, because some people, you know, they're going to listen to you more than they're going to listen to somebody that they don't know. So that's always the key there. All right. Legislation is Vicky or Gretchen on? I don't think either one of them are on.
No, I can give that right quick.
Okay.
So certainly had a very robust year. The most of the legislation centered around a package that the Lieutenant Governor and Commissioner Rose had worked on ahead of the session to really try to impact the foster care numbers, not negatively or positively, but just more informed, and put some parameters around when children come into care. And so all of the legislation that the DHS had sponsored or carried by a legislator ended up passing, with the exception of one from aging that had to do with an Alzheimer's report being filed every 4 years instead of 3 years. It was just the most benign piece of legislation that just got caught up in the sports betting, legalization of medical marijuana chess game toward the end of the session. No reason it won't come up again next year. Really good year for the department. Lots of work that was put in on the front end, and it really to me showed the savviness of the leadership. Sometimes editorial comment, Susan Boatwright comment, sometimes people have different impressions of what leadership should or should not be doing. And, you know, I think every director I've ever worked for played to their skill. And this commissioner is very savvy with the legislator, and that's around systems change, which is the highest level of change for an organization. And so I think that the legislative liaison team, Jackie Tate's team, and the commissioners team really are to be applauded for the work they did. I think we've just seen the foundation for what will likely be an expansion around the juvenile code rewrite provisions, and some other legislation. So that report is available. The link to that report, it's the same link that was shared all throughout the session. And we really were served well by having Carol Parrish on the ground every day, kind of telling us what to do. I think in the long run, it probably saved us a lot of money because there's no travel back and forth. I only traveled one time. And so, and that private tour of the Capitol, you know, we want to schedule that ahead of time next year and really get the Legislative Academy going ahead of time. We had some learning for sure of how to stage our influence and how to engage with legislators. GSRA just got a room there at the Capitol and brought in Chick-fil-A, which is 1,000 times, well, maybe not 1,000, but definitely 100 times cheaper than what we were doing before. And so I think we learned a lot, and we'll be in great position next session. But overall, a good year for DHS, and the raises that will go into effect July 1st. It's about $1 an hour for everybody. So that's good news.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Susan. Okay. Next, did you have anything to add, Darby, with your financial stuff?
No, I pretty much covered it with the report. I don't generally have anything extra to say.
Thank you. All right. Next, Jeannie Lane with education.
We haven't really had a meeting just because there's not a lot of participation with it, but we did do the Google poll and gave the information to Susan so that she can help get some of those classes set up. And then every time I have the opportunity with meeting someone new, I have them ask their staff what they think would be valuable options for training. So
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And when
Just
you
work
look
in the
on
background.
that link to GPH on the road to growth, GPHSA local options in the list of available trainings, that is an informed list from feedback from you guys and Jeannie's survey. I had to track down people who could offer those trainings, but I think we've been able to track down somebody for almost every single one of them. So I'm hoping people will take advantage of them. And Jeannie, thank you for your work on that.
Yes, Jeannie. You've done a lot of work on education. We appreciate that. And appreciate Darby and her financial stuff too. Nobody wants to take that job, Darby. So, okay. All right. Next, and I see Natasha has joined us. Natasha Mike, you have any information on the Social Services Committee? I know you've got a couple of co-chairs, so that's exciting since Ashley abandoned you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for being so tardy
Glad you're here.
this evening, but no, I don't have any updates other than me and my committee, we did establish a good time frame to meet every other month. So we met in March, and we kind of talked about some things that we would like to see moving forward in the committee, to getting notices out, getting information out, and how we could, best advocate for things that we're seeing that's, not going right or going wrong or whatever, or things that are going right. We want to share those different things between the committee. But I think just having a better understanding of when we're going to meet now is has been good. So we'll see how that's going to go, and we'll meet again this month. I just got to send out a date, a date and time. That in March, what I did was just send out enough notice of when we were going to meet and send everybody the link. And believe it or not, we had more than I've ever had on on the meeting.
Yay.
So I was really excited and really happy about that.
Awesome. Yay. All right. That sounds good. Thank you, Natasha. And thank you for hanging in there and getting it back going. If I don't think Jaleesa, huh? No, I don't think Jaleesa or Erica are here. Is anybody else that's affiliated with OFI? Have y'all been on any committee meetings, or you have anything to report out? All right, we will hopefully have something next time. All right, annual conference planning. That's me, and we have been holding off on this because of this travel ban, and we just wasn't sure, and we're still not sure what is going to happen in September. But I will be calling a meeting in the next couple of months just to, me and Susan have been talking and trying to get some direction, but we will have a meeting in the next couple of months because we will, there will something will happen in September, October. We'll have a meeting, and bring your ideas, creativity. This is the time for creativity. And also, if you're not on the committee, you want to be, send me an email. So, all right. And then DEI, Jan's mama passed away recently. I don't know how y'all know that, but she's been having a really hard time. I've been talking to her, and she seems to be better, but that's, a lot of us have experienced that one way or another, and it is hard. So they've not had any meetings recently, and totally understandable. So is there any updates, Susan, besides that you know of? Or
Angie has her hand up, and then I will tell
sorry,
you what I
Angie.
know.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. I just, I got on a little late. So did we have an update about the travel ban, or no?
No, Darby says there's rumors that it might last till December, but there's nothing for sure. So
I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I read. I'm reading into the tea leaves on my report, Angie, but short answer to your question is no, we don't.
all right. Well, the next thing is your report, Susan. So if you want to go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll tell you about the DEI. The group has been meeting, but the participation of the group had been falling off a little bit, like with all groups. I mean, people are so busy, all committees. And so what they are doing is I sent them some information or a structured program that they could consider doing, so that, and maybe meeting quarterly rather than monthly, and with some assignments in between. And so I believe that is where they are. I don't have any reason to believe that the meeting this month will be canceled, but it might be. And honestly, I would rather not have another meeting until we have something, that some idea of what we want to accomplish during the meeting, or a topic. I guess a topic is the best way to say that. And so they are working on that. And like Susan said, Jan just had a little bit of a personal kind of setback. And so we're giving her some space and time, and just know it's not gone away. It's going to continue for sure. And they are looking at an outline and some content to do. Okay. Directly into my report. Annual conference update. I sent, as soon as the session ended, I had a talk with Mary Havoc and asked for her guidance on how to approach the issue. And she suggested that I just reach directly out to the commissioner via her person, Robin, her assistant, Robin, and just lay it all out. This was a long-standing conference, that this is, it's the biggest one we have, but that I also should include, the number of people, that what our contract says, and what the projected cost would be. I sent that to Robin, and she responded back quickly and said she was going to give it to Craig for review and response. So I did not hear back for a little while, and I reached back out to Mary last week and asked if she could just, if she would just share kind of what she knew. She did not indicate Darby has more information than I've been given, and I know it's rumored, and I appreciate you sharing that, because we want to acknowledge that it's rumored, nothing's been set in stone. But I did get some context around the funding that is used to allow staff to attend conferences, or specifically the GPHSA, and then one other one, and I cannot remember which one it was, is state funding. And state funding is money that we get from, that's allocated to us in our budget from the legislators during session. It is the same funding that has to be used to pay hoteling costs for kids, other things. It's the most flexible funding source we have, and it is not tied to any like federal parameters and that sort of thing. So that helped me understand a little bit of why, perception-wise and spending-wise, there was some concern around the conference dollars in the upcoming fiscal year. I didn't even cover what's going on through June 30th of this year. That's a travel moratorium that is all funding sources. I did ask Mary, given that the decision would be to that funding, they don't feel that the funding would be available, because in order for 300 people or upwards of 200 some odd to attend our conference, it's a minimum of that's $200,000 or $300,000. I know that's surprising, but when you look at the registration cost, the hotel cost, and the travel cost, it's a pretty big chunk of change. Of course, we don't make that, but we all know what it costs to host a conference like that. And so was it just an opinion about conferences in general, or was it truly a funding issue? And to her knowledge, it was a funding issue. However, the pandemic seems to have changed how people feel about getting together. When Susan was talking earlier about 20 years ago, when they had to scale everything back, of course, if you were ever going to get together and interact with each other, you had to do that in person. And 20 years ago, this option to do this like this is a gift and a curse, because it does make it an option. It makes it a very, very cheap option to have a board meeting. Your own county board meetings, I don't know if y'all attend those, but typically there's some people there in person and there are people there virtually, I'm guessing. And so I don't think we're going to be able to move past that. The world has changed since the pandemic. The important part is, though, that people still need to be together and they still need the things that the association offer. And so this is where I'm going to get into reading my tea leaves, and what we have been talking about in general is, until we get on the other side of these things that are vying for the same funding source, those state dollars, that rather than bring 200 people far away, can we offer up more localized options in the interim, like what we're doing, the GPHSA on the road to growth? And could we even, we could even entertain doing a little 3 little mini conferences, sort of like we were trying to do in different areas, as we work through this next year. And I feel like that is probably the direction it's going to go in. Of course, if the travel moratorium continues through December, then even those local options, unless someone wants to pay for their own way, in a region, then that makes that very difficult, because there's still travel involved in a region. It's just not quite as far. So I feel confident to move forward with some local options, even if we get to do the annual conference. I think that gives us a safety net of keeping the motor running. And I really don't have I've been up and down. I thought it was completely gone away. I thought we weren't going to have it. And then I got a little bit of hope a couple of weeks ago that when I talked with Mary about sending it into Craig. And so I just don't have an idea right now. That's a lot of talk just to tell you kind of what I think is going on. I would be very surprised if we get support for a conference at the level that we have had in the past. The tricky part here, even if it's scaled down, is that we signed a contract for 200 rooms, and that unless the funding is just not there, then GPHS, which this would be a situation where the funding would just not be there. And so we do have a clause in that contract for that. I don't know that a scaled down version would work, especially if there's a total travel moratorium, which I had not heard until today. Any questions about the annual conference? And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to take a little bit of a step further. Okay. Having said that, about that funding stream, you heard in the financial report that we had a non-refundable deposit with Lake Lanier that we've paid $6,000 some odd dollars for that. There are funding streams out there that are, the state has access to that are not state dollars. Some of them it's KC money. Sometimes it is some other type of federal money that is tied to certain outcomes. This is mostly child welfare. OFI, of course, has sometimes maybe FNS might give some funds for some training, but mostly it's child welfare pots of money. Even if there is not that statewide support for using state dollars, you may see some conferences occur that are targeted and specific because they're tied to money that was given to the division for that purpose. What I'm working on right now is trying to, we couldn't cancel the Lake Lanier contract without paying $50,000 because we signed a contract and we agreed to X number of rooms. And there was no clause for funding. It just didn't even occur to me that this might be an issue when I signed that back end of last year, first of this year. So what we're working on is there is a funding source, I think Casey money for child welfare. They had a meeting at Lanier Island last year in July, and they are going to do it again this year. And I am working to have that take over our contract so we are not liable for that amount of money. What I did was I just rescheduled the May to July, and I believe we have gotten the approval for that Casey funded conference to take the place of the dates that I've just rescheduled to July so that we wouldn't be charged that large amount of money. And I'm going to try to get that deposit back, because if the deposit goes toward the total cost, then once the total cost is paid by attendees, there should be leftover money, right? So that is what I am going to, that's when we try to recoup some of the money on what we lost from the spring conference. Any questions about that?
I just applaud your creativity.
It was Rhonda and I had a stomach pit feeling for several days. So it's not ideal. It's not what we want, but it is an option that will. Oh, can we stop? Oh, sorry. Okay, we've taken care of that. I was looking at the chat right quick to make sure there weren't any questions there. So that's where we are right now with that. On the road to growth, we have talked about that. I am going to reach out to, like I said, I talked to Gwinnett. I tentatively have a date of August 3rd scheduled to do something like this in the metro area for Gwinnett, Cobb, and Clayton. And I am working with Holly and Georgia State and a philanthropic agency to put together some curriculum that we would love to try out on our metro partners first. And so regardless of whether we can try that out or not, we are going to try to do a local event in the metro area August 3rd. And I would like to also try to get something going in Jennifer's area, if at all possible, sometime in the next, I'd like to have conversations soon and get it booked sometime in the next 60, 90 days. And that'll give us 2 of those local kind of professional development networking events to learn from and then see how we can roll it out to other areas. Any questions about that? then Rhonda is going to be on vacation. She, so, you know, let me just tell y'all, there's some things Rhonda does. I have absolutely no idea how to do them. One of them is sending a blast email to everybody. So I'm going to try to get an email out about May, you know, stuff that's going on in May and anything we want to be aware of. We are also trying to cover those things on our social media account. We have contracted the services, very, very limited, of someone who's helping us get stuff posted. She knows how to post them all at one time, so it's not inexpensive. The trick is I have to send her all of the posts all at one time. And like for May. So if y'all have an idea of something y'all think we should promote on our social media, I wish you would send it to me because it would help me with the content. But if you need anything sent out to everybody, you want to get it to her, you know, let's say by the 15th, so she won't be bombarded the 2 days before she goes. And we hope she'll have a wonderful time. And we'll save all of the membership stuff and the banking and the other stuff for her when she gets back. You're welcome, Rhonda. I really do hope you have a great time. And then for the fall meeting, I'm just going to put this out there. We'll talk about this some more. We had talked about at our last board meeting that we wanted to, you might remember last year, we took some funds out of Fidelity and Vanguard to shore up the annual conference until we got all of the registrations in. And all of that flows in and out of the association checking account. We have these funds over in the foundation that are just, they're sitting there right now. They're funds from the administrative fee that we get for State of Hope from last year. We'll get those funds again in September. And I would like to use the fall meeting as a time to decide how much we should be able to put that money back into investments. I'm not saying it's going to be the smartest thing to invest it in the mutual funds that we have now, because we've seen a lot of volatility with the market. While we did take out money from both accounts, they also significantly, the value declined in the first of last year, as everybody's retirement account. If you had any 401k or anything, you took a hit last year. They're rebounding and we're making some of that money back. But my main goal is to invest some of this money that's just sitting there so that we're at least back up to the 25 that we took out in August of last year. There's really no point in doing it until we could do it, but then we'd be doing it again after September when we get the new State of Hope funding. So I say we just do it all at once. We're not making any money off of what's sitting in the checking account right this minute, but 6 months isn't going to make that much of a difference. So I just want to kind of put that bug in your ear that that's a goal, that we want to take some of this money that we have and reinvest it, and to talk about where to reinvest it. And Rhonda had a great idea, is we could invite someone who is savvy with investments to advise us. Should we put it back in the market? Should we put it in a short-term CD with the credit union that is so good to us? You know, what would we like to do with that? So again, I'm tossing it out there. Some of you are probably thinking, oh, dear Lord, I'm going to miss that meeting. Nothing sounds more boring. But I'm hoping others of you will see this as the financial stability of the association moving forward. You know, we always want to make sure we maintain a certain baseline. And then if we have the opportunity to increase upon that, then that just means more opportunities and whatnot. So we're fine financially. We are not in any kind of financial distress. We have between memberships and the county memberships that the state purchases and the State of Hope, we're in good shape. Even though our overall membership is not stable. I feel like if we can get some of these county level membership funding, that would only add to. But even if that doesn't happen, we're okay. So I don't want anybody worrying about financially. Really, this is about where do we put some of this money that's back into investments. Okay. That's all I got.
Thank you. That was a lot, Susan. Y'all are doing a lot of things behind the scenes, trying to keep us afloat. Not financially, but just keep GPHSA afloat. It can be a battle. It's not sometimes money. It's a lot of different perceptions and other things. But I think we're going in the right direction, and I think we got a lot of creative stuff. And like I say, we'll have a meeting about the annual conference, and definitely would like for you to be there about some creative stuff as well. So we'll work on that. Does anybody have anything burning that they would like to speak on the speak out? Anybody got anything it can be anything? Well, I know one thing. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the amount for life membership?
Or what?
The lifetime membership.
A purchased lifetime membership that I'm aware of. I do know some people have a lifetime membership, like Wayne. He has a lifetime membership. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad idea, because you have it all at one time. What do you think?
I need to pay you guys now, because when I retire, I'm not going to remember to send you any money. So, so if you think of it or find it, I just, I know I've been paying since whenever. It's probably lifetime already, but I know there's probably a fee or something. So I'm just curious.
The lifetime memberships that we have now are those that have been voted on and awarded by the board. It's not that you sign up and pay. Those are people that have a lot of past presidents, or like she said, like Wayne, they were voted on to be given a lifetime membership.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah. So, but it would be a great idea if we came up with something like that.
Especially for members who are about to retire. Like you said, I missed a year.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half from when I retired to when when it occurred to me. And so to offer a, 3-year, your retirement is not much. You're going to be better off doing a retirement membership for a period of time than at your full rate. I know that flies in the face of what we've been talking about here, but for you, we could definitely do $100, I think would be 5 years, right, Rhonda?
Yes.
Yeah. So before you retire, if you wanted to purchase that, then we could, as your membership comes back up, there might be different people sitting in those seats, in these seats 6-7 years ago, or whenever you're thinking about 5 years after you retire. But the membership software that we invested in prompts Rhonda. This is another one of the things Rhonda does that I would have no idea what to do with, but prompts her to reach out and say, your membership's expiring, da-da-da.
Good
Thank
idea.
you. Just a thought.
Yes, it's a good idea. Good thought. Yeah. Anybody else? One thing I'd like to bring up, I think, would be a good idea, which most everybody was on here, but especially when we're doing these virtual ones, or even if it's in person, if you are a committee chair and you think, even if the last minute, because even a week ahead we can get it, but if you think you're not going to be able to make the meeting, if you can maybe send a email with the report, and that way we would kind of know. We're lucky today we had enough people that knows, but I was just thinking that might be a good thing for all committee chairs to if they, and we can remind you just if you're not going to make a meeting, to send a report, and that way, because it's good to know what we're doing, what's going on and stuff. So. Anything else anybody's got? I know we're getting close to 5, very close. Yay. So I will close out. If nobody has anything else to say, please speak up if you do, because GPHSA is about the members and their ideas and stuff. And if you think of something after this, you can email me or Susan or Rhonda or Jennifer Brogdon, any of us. So please always let us know your opinions, your questions, and all that. So we appreciate y'all. Okay, yeah, it was Kim. I agree. She said it was a great meeting. All right, well, as we close, this is Mother's Day month, and I get to go to Denver, Colorado to spend it with my son, because these last couple of years I have to go to him if I'm because he's all over the place, which he's doing what he loves, so that's okay. But I was just thinking about, I used to send out these posts, and things have happened the last couple of years where I don't send them out as much. But when I talked about mothers, I would always talk about there's lots of different kinds of mothers. There's our foster mothers, there's our bio mothers, there's all of us that are mothers. And even if you don't have a child, you may have a relative, or you may have a child that that just doesn't have great parents and stuff, and they need a little extra help, or sometimes we mother each other. I've had many, but I've had many people mother me. I'm still needing raising. And I always agree with that it takes a village, because it does take a village. But I just want to, just say that, just to honor everybody. And dads, men, they can become mothers and dads sometimes. So I just want to, just give an honor to everybody that has mothered anybody, because that's what makes the world go round, and that's what keeps us sane sometimes. So I just want to say, I have a little thing. It's a little frame in my office. It says, mothers are blessings wrapped in love. And that is just so true, because, mothers put up with a lot. Mine put up with a lot for me, and I know I put up a lot for my kids. So, but it's worth every minute, because, we do love our children. We love our nieces, nephews, cousins. And I'm sorry, but I love my puppies as well. So, puppies can become very part of your family. So, or kitties, if you like kitties. But so anyway, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to everybody. And I just want to say I feel very positive after this meeting. Like Sakima said, it was a great meeting. I hope you feel that way. I hope you've been given some information, because that's always the best thing, is just know what's going on, good or bad, and then we can do something with it. And we will have some very creative things going on, but it's going to take us to work, to make it happen. And again, I will be sending out an email about the annual conference planning committee. And if you're not on that and you want to, please let me know after this meeting. So if no one has anything else.
Hey, Susan,
Yes.
Can Susan Boatwright and Susan Cooper stay on a minute? I have a question.
I can. Can you say?
Thank-
Okay, we will.
Thank
Okay. All right. Well, thank y'all all so much. Have a great rest of the day. It's a beautiful evening. Go outside and enjoy.